I miss that sexy smile, looking forward to see you. I hope I will lose control. Love you every night, no checking the time, 'cause I was loving you all night long. I can let you go, baby.
Hello, everyone. I look like I'm going to the beach today. I said that before. Listen, we're in Florida. You never know. Would you like us to take this show to the beach one day? Can you imagine Delhi soaking in the sun? It could be good. Just saying, Delhi. Wear a Speedo or something. We need some views. Just saying. Anyway, welcome, everyone. Fantastic show plan. I didn't sleep at all last night because my son was being difficult, but I will try so hard to bring that energy up for you. So I rely on you. You know, you feed my energy, y'all. What do we have today? We have a crazy episode. We've got some deranged women. You know you love it. You know you do. We've got a damaged woman's view of men. We've got modern women disclosing their manipulation tactics. So guys, you know what? You got to know what somebody's coming at you with, right? They're going to tell you. We've got an OnlyFans creator. She earns $245,000 a year, but she can't get a real relationship. I can't imagine why, honey. Wait till you see what she looks like too. It's an odd fetish thing going on there that we need to uncover. And I'm going to ask Delhi a very important question that he ain't ready for. He's not been prepped. Let's just say that. We've got flawed feminist talking points on equality and traditional gender roles. We've got whether your past and your past behavior when it comes to a relationship, promiscuity and whatnot, is that a good indicator of your future? And finally, we've got our matrix topic of the day. We've got a warning from Dr. Michael Yeadon on the dangers of government-run central bank digital currencies. Y'all like your cash? Y'all like having cash, you like having money, you go to work, you keep some money. Yeah, well, they're about to take it from you. So I am here to prevent that from happening. I need you to be smart. I need you to be sharp. I need you to be attuned to what's happening so that you can hold on to that hard-earned money of yours. All right. So we're going to start with some damaged women. Damaged women have a very dark, very sinister, very creepy view of men. We're going to hear it from them in their own words. Let's go to that TikTok first, Ellie.
Started.
Yeah,
actually want relationships. Like
start over.
men
You can
want,
start over.
I am
Yeah.
absolutely convinced that men don't actually want relationships. Like men want their lives as is. They want to go about their day exactly as it is, do whatever they would normally do, and just want somebody there when it's convenient for them or, you know, for the things they want to do. Like convince me I'm wrong.
Convince me I'm wrong. All right, honey, I'm going to convince you you're wrong. First of all, she's damaged, right? This is a sign of a woman who's been through some stuff. I don't know if she dates the wrong guys. I don't know if she thinks she's a 10 maybe and she's only looking for the 10s. I can't tell you the why. I can only tell you that she reads as somebody who's been through it. And now she's got this sinister, dark look at men. She thinks men are all bad. Men are only looking to do this and that. Does it ever occur to her? Like, I just ask women to self-reflect a little bit. First of all, is it you? I mean, listen, we have to ask ourselves every now and then. We have to be able to say, you know how we're always like, it's you, it's you, it's you. Well, maybe she needs, is there something you're doing, honey, bringing to the table that's not so delightful? Is there a behavior that guys don't like? Are you carrying baggage from old relationships into your current relationship? Is there anything you can do, because you only have control over your own behavior, to make this better? I ask myself why the modern women often don't self-respect and take some personal accountability. Because yes, you can be with a guy who's not good, but you have to also be able to assess the situation. It takes two to make a relationship. It takes two to wreck a relationship, right? So what is she doing? I'd be curious to know. What's interesting to me is sometimes you're with a guy, right? And that guy's just not that into you, right? That can happen. Or you guys, you can be with a girl and you're like, okay, she's just not that into me. So does it ever occur to them that maybe they're with somebody and maybe that guy just doesn't want to do those things with and for you? I'm not saying it feels good, but again, like, assess the relationship. Instead, what they decide to do is to blanket all men as bad. All men as self-interested. Also, why is it bad for a guy to want a little bit of his own day? I don't understand. Oh, guy's going to want to do things for himself. He should have his own life. He should have his own day. He should have his own life. He should have his own job. He should have his own stuff going on, because you and I both know that if he doesn't have any of that and he's just looking at what you're doing, you're going to toss him to the curb in 2 seconds, right? You're going to be bored. You're going to be like, oh, he's too into me. Oh, he's pathetic. Oh, he doesn't have options. And you're not going to want him. So many of these guys it feels like they can't win, right? In many respects. So self-reflect, honey. You got to figure out what is it that if you're keep having, by the way, this goes for everybody out there in the chat. If you're having failed relationship after failed relationship after failed relationship, at some point you got to be like, is it me? Is there something I'm doing? I'm not saying that you can't hit a streak of bad luck, but odds are something you're doing is playing a role in there. Okay. All right. Manipulation. Have you ever felt manipulated in a relationship? In the chat, by the way, we are reading super chats. I see one in there. El Chino already. Nasty. They didn't give me. Deli, they forgot my nasty button. Y'all going to be in trouble in the back. Now I'm just going to have to do nasty more. You're going to have it live because they forgot the button. Uh-oh. Somebody's going to get. I'm going to do it, Donald Trump. You're fired. That's for you, Andres, if you're listening. Anyway. So El Chino started off the show. Nasty. That's right. Nasty. You ever been manipulated in a relationship was my question. Guys, girls, you ever feel like somebody's playing some mind games with you? Girls love the mind games. They do. I'm sorry to say. They love the mind games. Here you have a modern woman who's openly acknowledging that she utilizes manipulation tactics against men. Pay attention to what she says. I have heard this before. This is not the first time that I've heard a woman say something like this. Guys, you fall prey over and over and over again, depending upon what the girl looks like and how needy you are. Let's listen. Number 2.
If you want men to give you everything you want, you have to manipulate them. This don't work. It works, but it's not for everybody, okay? Because if you're just such a good person and you're a lover girl and you just, I just can't because I'm just going to leave, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, if you want to learn how to manipulate men, step 1 is you act obsessed with them, get them wrapped around your finger. Then step 2, you snatch it all away from them. He's going to question in his mind, what did he do wrong? He's going to try to step it up.
Okay. Notice how she says, like, if you're a good person, like, if you're a good person, whatever, like, it's silly. To be a good person is now a bad thing, apparently, according to these women. It's incredible, really. I can't sometimes. So what does she say? What is her advice to you? First of all, this stuff is only going to work on desperate men. We know that, right? If you have options, you're not going to put up with somebody like this. You're just going to be like, see you later. But essentially, she's saying you got to sleep with a guy. You got to lure him in. That's how you're going to lure him in with the physical. You're going to get him hooked. And then you're going to be just step back a little bit. Let him be like, where'd she go? What happened? Where'd she go? Was I not good enough? Then you start as a man questioning, did you not bring it to the, do a good job in the sack? Did you not? Wait a minute. I thought it went well. And you start reanalyzing that because, guys can be self-conscious about that in some respects, right? Especially for girls playing mind games like this. So just know that the mind games are on the table. Just know that the mind games happen and the mind games are utilized. And the hotter the girl, oftentimes the more mind games you're going to have, right? Be honest, because they know hot girls know they can get away with a lot of stuff. You know that. You know it. And you know why they know? You know why they feel that way? Because they get away with it. They get away with it. They have, then the tables are turned. They have all the options. They've got the guys sliding into the DMs. They've got this and that. And they know, by the way, that when they, got a good body, smoking hot, walk into a room, whatever it may be, they know that you're like, you're staring at them. They know guys are very visual. Guys are very sexual. They sleep with you. Odds are, especially if she's a little out of your league, you're going to get hooked. So you can't allow yourself as a man to play that game. You have to be in control. And what that means is that you have to know your value. You have to actually bring value. You have to have, your house in order so that even when you're faced with a really attractive, hot woman, you don't allow that person to manipulate or treat you badly. It's never worth it to you. You always know that you have another option. So you don't have to be like, oh my God, this is the one time in my life I'm going to get to go out with a girl like this. No, you need to know that it can happen again because you're the catch, you're the prize. In the same way, women, by the way, if you are a beautiful girl, don't disrespect people. Don't use your beauty for evil. Don't use your beauty to manipulate. Don't use your beauty to play these mind games. Don't use your sexuality like a weapon. That's nasty. That's disgusting. Okay? Beauty is a gift from God, unless you bought it, in which case it never looks as good. You know that. But beauty is a gift from God. And that's something that you should treasure, and that's something that you should use for good, not evil. A lot of women out there using that beauty for evil, manipulate, nasty, blah, blah. What I always find that's interesting, though, I don't know if you feel this way. I just spit on my microphone. Don't you love that? I'm keeping it sexy. All right. Don't you love that some of the women in these videos, though, you're like, how do they get away with that? Like, it's not Heidi Klum, if you know what I'm saying. It's not Megan Fox. It's, I'm not saying they're unattractive, but they're not to a point where I'm like, how are you getting away with some of this behavior? You know why? They're dealing with simpy guys. They're not dealing with 10 guys, 9 guys, 8 guys. They're dealing with guys that are like, in the average zone, and they can hypnotize. They can play with. Here's your message, guys. Get out of the average zone. Get out of the average zone. Man up. Okay. Oh, look, we got a chat. Caleb Faust is here. Hey, Caleb. Caleb's regular. Why is it always she's nasty but never she's grody? We should bring that word back. What is that? Is that people use grody? Deli, do you know grody?
Nope.
I never called somebody grody before. Nasty is a better word. I'll tell you why. Somebody wrote me this the other day. They were like, I like that Jed's using the word nasty because she's bringing shame on the game. You damn straight. It is nasty what these women are doing. And I was raised right. I grew up in a time where, you know what? I was watching all of these really good girls question what they were doing. They were like, well, wait a minute. All these girls over here doing all this nasty stuff and getting attention. Should I? They were starting to, Somebody had to step up and call out the nasty for what it is. And by the way, you should. We have to live in a society and in a world where you can call out bad behavior. So that's what I'm here to do. Grody. I got to look that up, Caleb. I don't know. All right, let's talk some OnlyFans. Oh, man, I see this article in the New York Post. Did you all see it? Probably not, but here we go. Here's the title. I make $245,000 a year as the 6'1" sex giantess. She's like a literal giant. No joke. Look at the picture when you see it. Don't play the video because it's got music, but you can scroll down. But she says she can't get a real life date. Attractive woman, very, very tall. I have a question before we start reading this, though. Deli, I'm going to ask you this question. How tall are you, Deli?
I'm 6'1", yeah.
You're 6'1"?
Yeah.
Would you date a girl that was that tall or taller than you?
Depends on the profession. If you're a model, it's okay for you to be 6 foot. But
Okay.
if you're just a regular person, then no.
Because 6'1" is tall.
Yeah.
And you know what the problem is with some women? I'm not going to hate. I'm little. I'm like, I'm like Munchkin Land over here. I think I'm like 5'4" on a good day, right? My mom's always like, no, you're 5'5". I'm like, no, Mom, you're just actually 5'1" and lying. So you think I'm 5'5". I'm not. I'm like reaching for the glass, the cabinets. Mess. By the way, let me say this before we just to go on a tangent. You'll all appreciate this. Before the show started, I had this beautiful jar filled with vitamin C powder and water, and I was dying of thirst. I'm not going to lie. I was like, I could use a little something. I couldn't open it. I had to call producer Eric in here. Thank you, Eric. I know you're listening. To come in here, and I was sitting here for a good minute. I said, Eric, can you open this for me? He's like, sure, Jed. Deli knows because he was here. That's how it went down. So this, you don't need a man. You don't need a man. You need a man at home. You need a man at work. Basically, in your car, can you have a guy just run alongside the car just in case something happens? Because let me tell you something. I get a flat tire, or a little funny noise happens. There's going to be some panic that sets in, and I'm going to have to wave some guy down from the side of the street. We need men. We need them. We need them. We love them. We thank them. Thank you for your service, Eric, in opening my jar today. All right, let's get back to OnlyFans. What a bunch of tangents. Anyway, this girl's very tall. And the reason I asked if Deli would date somebody that tall is because we often say that women say that guys need to be tall, right? They need them to be 6 foot and up. But I think there's some reverse, stuff that happens. I think a lot of guys would tell you that they would prefer a woman not be so tall. They don't want a woman taller than them, probably. And they also probably would prefer petite. I think if you had to get a height range that guys prefer, I think it would probably be around like the 5'3" to 5'8". I get some of the models are really tall, but you know what happens with that guys don't like? Even when they see the tall, lanky, like beautiful, their hands and feet are very big. And I've had guys come to me and be like, our feet are enormous. No joke. So sometimes that becomes an issue. I'd be curious, though. Guys in the chat, do you like tall women? Would you prefer like a munchkin like me or someone who's, 6'1"? I'm curious where that's falling in this current year that we're in. Maybe I'm outdated. It's possible. I feel like everybody's growing and I'm shrinking anyway. Anyway, let's talk about, look at the chats rolling in. Everyone's very excited about this spicy topic. Okay. So woman's British. Her name is Penny. Let's go back to the article, Deli. All right, now there's a number of red flags here, so we're just going to go by one. Okay, single mom of 2. Okay, we see that. We're like, uh-oh, what happened there? She's 34. She says her sex life has suffered since she became a cyber star, and she now has been celibate for 6 months. I love when they say this. You're a sex worker, honey. You're not celibate. You're talking about in your private life. Oh, don't you love how they separate? Oh, my sex work is different. It's not different, honey. You're still spreading the gams. All right. She says, I have to admit, I find that OnlyFans is a massive obstacle if you want a serious relationship, Penny told Medium Drum. It definitely gives a certain impression and causes a lot of jealousy. Honey, it doesn't cause jealousy. They're not jealous. They're like, nasty, disgusting, and they think that you're a liability now. They don't trust you because they know that because you're doing OnlyFans, you're more likely to cheat on them. You're more likely to be promiscuous. You're a hot mess, and guys don't want to be bothered with it. That's really what's going on here. Plus, you got 2 kids, and now they're thinking she's got 2 kids behaving like this. It doesn't occur to her that these 2 kids might be negatively affected by what she's doing. It's a hot mess all around. Okay, she's 6'1". She says she's been sexualized since she was 13. And she says before she was an occupational therapist, and she was only making $20,000 a year, which I find odd. Why only $20,000 a year, occupational therapist? And this is what she says. You can scroll down, guys, too, and show more of the photos so people can see what she looks. Because sometimes she's very looming tall. Okay. There's a massive fetish out there for tall women. It's my height that stands out and makes me unique. This is the best. Don't you love OnlyFans? We're going to tell you what happens here. This is what she says. The most popular are custom role-playing videos where I'm growing and the guys are shrinking. Okay, no joke. They want to be kept in my shoe, my boobs or my bum most of the time, crushing them. Guys, what is going on? You want to be inside her shoe and getting crushed? You want her to be getting big and you small? I mean, do we need to have a conversation about mental illness going on here? What is going on with these fetishes? I thought it was just feet. Apparently, it's a whole other world out there that I don't know about on OnlyFans. She says, I do worry it could affect the possibility of attracting the right person for me in the future, but I'm quite content being by myself with my 2 beautiful daughters. Daughters, and you're doing this. Making a lot of money. OnlyFans has definitely grown my confidence. I feel more empowered than ever. Okay, she's 34. She says she can't get a guy. By the way, she says she's happy. She's not. Because you wouldn't say that. If you're really happy in your if you're really happy in your situation, you don't say, you don't first of all have to tell everybody you're really happy. Like, oh, I'm really happy. Don't worry, blah, blah, blah. I'm alone and can't get a guy, but I'm really, really, really happy. That's not how people talk, right? You just wouldn't mention, you would just not even mention it. It wouldn't even be on your mind. It's on your mind because you're unhappy. Secondly, she's saying this, she's 34 years old, mother of 2, single mom. Wait till you're 40, honey, and tell me how you're feeling that you're still alone, that now you have a lot less guys that are going to be interested in you. Number one, because you're climbing the age ladder, and that's just the way it goes, right? The desirability is going to go down even more. That's just the way it goes. We know that. Secondly, you already have 2 daughters by another guy, so that's a problem for a lot of guys. And thirdly, now you're going to have this whole repertoire online of sexual interactions, weird stuff, fetish stuff with a bunch of strangers. You think that's going to make for a resume for, oh, look, I'm looking for a really great guy. Here's what's on my resume. Single mom of 2 daughters. Well, let's see. I'm 30. I was, now I'm 40, let's say. I have a long OnlyFans list of videos where I've done, fetish stuff with a whole bunch of strange guys. What guy? Your average guy walking around, nice guy, good, raised right. That one. I want that one. No, honey, that guy's not going to want you to make him feel small and put him in your shoe like the others. He's just looking for somebody to bring home to his mom, have a nice Thanksgiving dinner. You're not going to be it. So what happens to this woman, by the way, everyone? Antidepressants, anxiety meds, stress. It's going to hit her, and it's going to hit her big, and she's not going to be able to undo, because 34 is still young. People are having kids late. 34 is still young. Very, very young. You still look like you're in. I mean, if you're taking care of yourself, you still look young at 34. And she's a pretty girl, don't get me wrong, but this is not going to end well. We all know that. Okay. Then we get into the Whatever podcast. Hi, Whatever, folks, if you're in the chat. I know I see you in there sometimes. I'm going to get to the chat in just a second. Actually, let me get to it now. Because then we're going to go on a stream of crazy. Feminist gone wild. Let's see. Groggy versus Nasty. Nasty for the W, he says. Oh, man. Lori Kirk gave $10. I love how Jed adds an extra syllable to nasty. Nasty. That's right. It is. It does have a little extra. That's the New York. Somehow I moved to Florida and my New York accent got thicker. I don't know. Maybe it's Deli's fault. All right, Beaten Cheeks is in there, $10. I called out more OnlyFans girls last night for you on whatever podcast. I will be making my first appearance midsummer there. No joke. Oh, the Deli's got the button. Keep an eye out. Keep doing great work. Got to go back to business in Dubai. No, Beaten Cheeks is going to be on the whatever podcast. Wow. Everybody's going on there. I know I have to go. It's being arranged. Don't worry. Alcino, Grody again. Ryan, the Eating Warrior, is in there. Another mainstay. Hi, Ryan. $5. Today's a great day. I woke up to an email notifying me that my divorce is finalized and I got the house. You got that? Well, fantastic. Fantastic. So happy to put my cheating wife behind me. That's, very sad. I have to say, cheating is very sad, disloyal. This is why I always say, people go in, set the parameters, and don't be disloyal. It is good news that you got the house, though, I think, if you wanted it, right? You probably worked hard for that house. So there you go. Man, that's sad, though. You know me, I'm a fan of longevity, but some people just can't be trusted. What are you going to say? All right. So now we're in the Whatever podcast, and there is a feisty one. Okay, very cute, I think, anyway. I could share my take, too, about women, right? All right. Let's go to number 4. Let's start there. It's going to get crazy. That's her in the middle. Cute with blonde hair. I think cute. Deli, would you agree? Middle girl. You're going to see her talk.
Let's see her attitude first.
Oh, Deli's been listening. Okay, let's go to number 4.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Go into that a little bit. Why?
Sure. I think nowadays, I'm not going to say all men, but a lot of men look to women to be everything, right? We have to have jobs that make a lot of money. We have to, most men that I talk to do. I see your face like,
Most men that you talk to.
well, if we're talking about 50-50, if they're paying half the rent, they better have some money under their hands, right? So if we're going 50-50, no, I think that's bullshit. As a woman, I'm coming in there like, okay, I'm literally going to do everything and anything you want.
Okay, let's
in
pause
the
it here.
bedroom.
Okay, she goes on and on. Sometimes it's a winding road with this one, so I apologize in advance. But she's already saying like that men look to women to do everything. I don't know who she's talking about. I have not encountered or experienced that in my life, nor seen much of it. That is a talking point. So most guys don't care about how much money you make, doll. I don't know who you're talking about, unless it's a guy who's really just kind of a loser who wants you to pay his way and he wants to sit home and get big and fat and eat his Cheetos and be on video games all day long. Most guys are not concerned with how much money you're bringing in. In fact, they don't want you to be everything, but they want you to be a woman. They want you to bring to the table all the strengths that they would hope that a woman brings to the table. They want you to be feminine. They want you to be nurturing. They want you to have a softness to you. They want you to be supportive and loyal. They want you to, care deeply about them. They want you to, if they want kids, to be a great mom. They want you to be envisioning that home space and make a house a home. All of those beautiful things that I think women do brilliantly and do in a really special, wonderful way. They want that from you. They don't care about how much money you're bringing in. That's just not a reality for most guys. So, and I don't know what she's talking about 50-50. You're going to hear a lot about this 50-50, 50-50, 50-50. Now, what I will say to guys, if there are guys out there, by the way, who want the woman to go out and work an equal amount as the man, who want that relationship to be like guy works 8 hours a day, woman works 8 hours a day outside the home, then guys, you're going to have to split the chores. You're going to have to split, you know what I'm saying? Because now you're both going out and doing an equal amount of that. So you're both going to wind up doing an equal amount at home, or you're going to have resentment. That often causes a problem, right? Because it's tug of war all the time. The whole reason that you want a complementary situation is someone has to work more. Someone has to work less, meaning outside the home. Someone has to work more and someone has to work less inside the home. So what you want is a balance of two people who really are on the same page. Find it, figure out what it is. But your expectations will have to shift if suddenly you are saying to that woman, I want you to make money, blah, 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 blah. But that's just not, most guys just don't care. Every guy that I talk to, guys making 6 figures, guys making 7 figures, guys making, $50K a year. All I hear is what I really want is a woman who's really nice and fun to be around and pleasant and feminine and, is attracted to me and wants to have a family. And I never, ever hear mentioned, oh, and by the way, she's got to make 100K. Like ever. It's not. In fact, they don't even care if you do a side job or they don't. It's not important to them. It's not on the high priority list. So she's been brainwashed. Okay, let's talk about equality. Number 5. Let's watch her derail. You're about to see a train go off the tracks. Here we go.
No, but I think, feminism isn't a bad thing. Of course, there's always going to be extremists, right? That are like, oh, just hate men, just hate men. I don't believe that.
But isn't feminism all about equality?
No, it is about equality for sure. But I think there's more to it. We've been completely erased from history. And now...
Erroneous! Erroneous!
And now...
Hold on.
Wait,
Feminism's about equality. Okay.
Let me... just hold on. Just hold on. Even now, there have studies that have been shown that quite literally show that when women start dominating a man's career,
Okay, stop. This is unnecessary headache that she's about to give you that makes no sense. So women have just been erased from history. How so, honey? I'll wait. Where is the information? Why did they say these things? Women have been erased. What are you talking about? Every time I turn, around, there's like a new Women's March or Women's Day or Women's Appreciation or what are you talking about? This is a time period where women are getting more accolades than ever before. What world do you live in where women are being erased from history? I don't really even understand. And even when there was a time when women didn't have access to the same rights, whether we're talking about voting rights or whether we're talking about access to employment or whatever it is, we talk about that as a society a lot. We talk about it and we say, okay, this is the evolution that's happened and this is the good that's come from it and maybe this is a bad that potentially came from it. We have those conversations. Nobody's in the dark about that. What are you talking about? This is the dumb hurts sometimes. I can't stand when women sit there and just spew what they've been told to spew with nothing to factually back it up. Women have been erased from history. What does that even mean? You can't erase something from history, honey. God. Okay, let's go to number 6. Oh, this is a different woman. We're going to get back to this one, by the way, because she really is a prize. But this was a fascinating exchange you're about to see. A very twisted view of men. Be warned. Let's play it.
Women out-earn men. In the age group from 20 to 40, women out-earn men.
We're more educated, too.
Yeah, that's so all educated women in Manhattan alone out-earn men. And this is, at least over there,
right.
It's making it really dangerous for women because men still want to feel dominant and they will inadvertently try to dominate the woman in another way, like a domestic violence thing,
okay,
or emotional abuse to try to be like, I'm the man, even if you're making them more money, because even if you're not emasculating him.
Do you hear what she just said? Typical that she's from New York. These cities are full of rot. When I tell you guys, you say, oh, how do I meet? I get these questions all the time, DMs, whatnot. Oh, how do I meet a nice girl? Get out of the cities. And you're going to get something like that. What you just heard coming out of New York City. I'm from New York City. I know. It was like there were a few of us. There weren't a lot. Most of them sounded like that. So she's saying essentially, by the way, that men feel a need to be dominant to such an extent, by the way, that if a guy is making less money than a woman, he begins to feel insecure and then he will become a perpetrator of domestic violence. He will become abusive. So that's like saying that guys are just naturally wired to be abusers, right? And the second they feel a little shift they don't like, or they get insecure, according to her words, not mine, or the woman starts making more money, or the woman's more educated, that guy suddenly just snaps his finger and turns into an abuser. What a sick, twisted view of men. Sick. That's beyond nasty. I mean, can you imagine? What happens when, I don't understand why it's so hard for women to understand, is that when you make more money and you become part of that corporate grind, there's an ugliness sometimes that drapes over you. I lived it. I know. I felt like I was losing myself at times because you have to get so hardened for that world and you have to get so stressed and you're always in a little bit of a ball of knots and you're, bumping elbows with all the guys and these women that really, they have all but the eggplant is all I'm saying. They've got a lot of testosterone, those ladies. And you have to manage that. And it hardens you. And then you come home to your husband who remembers his soft, beautiful, calm, happy wife. And it's like, where did she go? That's why they're miserable when you start making bank. It's not because they feel insecure. It's because they're like, what happened to you? That's not why they were there. They weren't there for your money. They were there for all of the things that you've now lost. It's a very important, powerful message. And this idea that a guy just turns into an abuser just because, like they're hardwired for it, sick. These women are sick. All right, let's talk feminism. We're going to go back to the cute blonde girl. I'm going to call her cute blonde girl. She'd be so offended if she heard me. She'd be like, oh, what's next? Is Jed going to call me a chick? Let's go back to the cute blonde chick. All right, number 7.
You say you're against 50-50, yet you're a feminist.
Yes.
Isn't feminism supposedly about equality?
Yeah, I think it is equality. And once we, as women do have more equality, then it should be more 50-50. But
what do you mean by more equality, though?
Sure.
Because all the law, we have everything in America.
Oh my gosh, of course. No, I'm not saying that we're like living in Iran or something like that, or India, right? Mm-hmm. Which are just like so awful against women. But I still think that there are issues in this country against women, absolutely. And abortion being one of them, which I know is like a tough subject. But and I'm totally pro-life, pro-choice. It's up to you.
Privilege.
I just think that as a
what
woman,
you are, let's
if
stop.
I go into,
you can pause it, Deli. That's a privileged woman right there. So she's saying, by the way, she's a feminist when it's convenient to translate for you. She's against the 50-50 in relationship until there's more equality for women. What is she talking about? What do you want? So when she's confronted, like, okay, what do you mean? What do you need to happen here that's not happening already? Oh, abortion. Right? That's the talk is spews out. Just that's all they know. Equality. Oh, if I want to go have an abortion, honey, again, I don't know why I have to explain this to you, but an abortion involves another person. That's not just about you. First of all, it oftentimes is about 3 people, right? Not oftentimes it is. It's about you. It's about the person that you had sex with to create a third person, and it's about the third person living inside you. So this idea that like, oh, this is what women's healthcare looks like. Oh, and this is female autonomy. And this is what, women being pushed down in society is just because they want to take away their rights to murder another human being. I mean, do you see the sick that it's coming to? And she can't name a single other way. She cannot name a single other way that women are less, that equality is compromised. Because it's not. It's not. Now, are men and women equal? I would say no, because we're not the same, right? That word equal. And when they're talking about equality, remember, they're always talking about equality of outcomes, not equality of opportunity. They want the outcome to be the same. The outcome can't be the same because men and women are different. So she's against the 50-50 until true equality is achieved, which by her definition, by the way, would be that women would have more opportunity. She wants the playing field to now be the other way. She feels like women have been held back and she wants it overcompensated now, right? That's what they want. Really, that's what they're saying, by the way, when they talk about equity and equality. Just understand what the modern feminist movement is talking about is they want to make up for lost time. So they feel like women suffered at the hands of patriarchy, and now we are going to create something different. We're going to create something where guys have to sit down and shut up, and women lead the charge, and women are front and center, and women have greater opportunities, and women are chosen for jobs just by virtue of the fact that they are women, because we're going to balance out all the bad stuff that happened in society back then. That's what's happening. Just know where it's coming from. Okay, let's go to 113.33.
So the last guy I dated, it was a little like contentious because I only took him on a couple dates, and we had probably been dating for 6 months. And out of those 6 months, I think I took him out maybe 2 or 3 times. He was very upset by that. He thought that like as many times as he took me out, I should take him out. I guess I'm just old school. I don't believe that. I think a man should be taking the woman out more.
So you want equality only when it benefits you?
Yes. I'm just kidding.
But it's like, how do you reconcile belief?
She's not. By the way, you'll hear that a lot. I'm just kidding. Oh, I'm just playing with you. She plays that game all the time. She's not. That's her way of saying, like, that's what I really feel. She wants the equality when it is convenient. So did you hear what she said? Her instinct, remember, we are biologically driven. So her instinct is to say, well, I want the guy to lead when it comes to asking a girl out. And I want a guy to play that role initially. And I want a guy to do that. And I want that. Yeah, well, honey, then you don't want equality. You want the idea of equality. You want the concept of equality, but you don't want equality actually manifested, because that would mean then the guy would sometimes play that role, and then sometimes you would be picking him up in your car, and maybe you'd walk around the side and open the car door for him, and maybe you'd pay that bill. And doesn't it sound weird? It sounds weird because it is weird. Because that's not how it's supposed to happen. And we all know biologically and otherwise that it just doesn't sit right with us, right? We're going to have a woman get out in her high heels, walk around. Maybe the woman should walk on the dangerous side of the street too, because if a car comes, then what? She's going to go, ah, and be really helpful. Come on, you know that's what we would do. We would jump. A guy would probably reach over, get it. When you're in a car, pay attention. Pay attention, by the way, it's a good judge of what kind of guy you're dealing with, ladies. And also, guys, you know you do this if you're a good guy. You're driving, something happens. What do guys do if he has to hit on his brakes or whatever? He goes like this. He immediately puts his hand over, like, to kind of block anything from happening to that woman. My husband's always like doing this if I'm in the front seat. I'm in the back seat a lot now with the baby, but he's always doing this, right? Women aren't going to do that. You know what they're going to do? Something happens. We're going to protect ourselves, right? One, because it's instinctive, because we know there's a fragility to us and we're going to do this. And secondly, it's not our job to protect the big, strong man sitting next to us. It shouldn't be. And he knows that. And we know that. Do you understand, though, just how we're wired by our nature of our biology and our anatomy, that we know that we're vulnerable? Guys know that we're vulnerable because we are, right? So can you imagine a woman picking you up, driving that car, right? She's got her high heels on. She gets out, struts around, opens the door for you. I mean, you could just deflate all the sex hormones. No, on both sides. Ugh, it's not interesting, and she knows it. She's feminine. Come on, that woman she knows what's up. Okay, keep playing it, Deli.
Believing in feminism, believing in gender equality, but saying that you want the guy to take care of it. You want the guy to adhere to his traditional gender roles during the initial courtship. That doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. No, I think that's what I believe. I think gender norms in the beginning make sense. But yeah, as you get to know each other, they go away, right?
Okay, so traditional gender roles when it benefits you, and then those disperse when they don't benefit you.
Okay. Let me be a little more careful with how I'm saying things. So in the beginning, I think it's up to a man to woo a woman, right? He should be the one that takes her out. He should be the one that wants to do all these things for her, right?
That's not very feminist of you, but okay.
Yeah, and I respect that, right? But again, feminism is a spectrum, right?
I can't. All right, pause it. I mean, where's the barf bucket? I did get the button back, by the way. That's right. I didn't get a barf bucket here, though. I think we're going to need one for women like this. Just saying, in case, you won't even see it. Don't worry. It won't be vulgar. But Deli's already doing it now. You don't know. He's not on camera. So again, she says the traditional gender roles are good in the beginning, and then they just should fade away, as if it's just something. Again, why? Because she believes that this is all a social construct, probably because, the Drew Follows of the world told her so. So she says the traditional gender roles are good in the beginning. A guy should court you, but then they should just kind of go away as people get more comfortable. What she's saying is that she wants the traditional gender roles when the check comes to the table, when the door needs to be opened, when a robber is potentially coming in her front door, when something goes wrong, when in all those circumstances, right? When she needs to be wooed, when she needs a gentleman, all of that, walking down a dark alley, all of those threatening situations or ones where she really wants to feel like she has her man. And then she wants the guy to then lose all of his testosterone so that when it comes time to making decisions in the house, she can then be the head of household. So it's selective feminism. It's selective traditional gender roles. It's just wanting what's convenient. It's spoiled. It's spoiled brat behavior. Okay. And it doesn't work like that. Guys can't just lose their masculinity. They can't selectively tap in and be like, well, I'm going to be a man when it's time to woo her. And I'm going to be a man when it's time to protect her. But then I'm not going to be a man in my own home. And I'm just going to be like, yes, honey, whatever you want. It doesn't work like that. First of all, you can't turn it on and off. And if you did turn it on and off, ladies, what you would find is you were heavily attracted to that guy when he was in his masculine energy. And when he lost that, you would be like, I don't want to sleep with you anymore. Distracted by the guy over here. You're not attracted to it. That's why all these female heads of households are like, where is my cowboy? You know it. Okay. Then she gets pissed, by the way. She's about to walk out. You ready to watch this? Triggered. Oh, I need a triggered too. We could get a triggered. Oh, yeah. I like it. Okay. Let's do this one. 8. Then we're getting to the chat.
123.
I have a question for you. So you mentioned, I think we had spoke before the show. You said you're harsh on men. What do you mean by that?
I am harsh on men. I think, again, just my background, I think when you're just watching men do really bad things to children all day, it tends to, and okay, if you want to come and do a day at my job, you absolutely can.
No, I'm good.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm good.
That's what I thought. Okay, ladies, you guys are beautiful and wonderful, and I love you all. For sure I will. Okay, bye guys.
This Beth donated $100. She's so annoying. I'd delete myself if I was married to her.
All right, that's Frank Castle. All right, what's the number on that microphone?
It's a number 7.
Oh,
Does that
Eric,
mean we're going out on a date?
Okay. So you see what happens here? She was challenged. She got uncomfortable. I don't know what she does for a living that she says guys are harming children. I don't know. I didn't catch that part. But she was challenged repeatedly. She wasn't making any sense. You see her trying to figure out how she feels about things just in the moment, which is okay. That can happen. But then just acknowledge that. Say, I haven't really thought about that. Let me think about that for a second and get back to you. She's just lost. She feels the need to defend a talking point that she can't defend because it doesn't make any sense. So she picks up and leaves. First of all, that's rude. You don't get up in the middle of a podcast and leave. Rude. Secondly, that whole bye everyone, show off, attention seeking, all that. I love that the chat came in while she was ready to exit, while she was exiting, and was like, I would rather blah, blah, blah than marry a girl like that. It was like music as she exited. I love it. But this is what happens all the time, by the way, when feminists are faced with facts. If someone like me sat across the table from her, it would be a disaster because I would just simply delineate all of the factual reasons why she's wrong about what she's saying. It wouldn't be an emotionally driven debate. It would just be like, that's not the gender pay gap. That's not what's happening. It's just not real. It's not grounded in anything but brainwashing what they're saying. So they leave. It happens all the time. They get uncomfortable. They get insecure about what they're saying. And then they do some beauty queen wave and leave all the time. All right. This is an interesting topic, number 9. I'm going to get to the chat and then we're going to do number 9. Let's see. Omega Resetsu, $5. It's called femdom masochism. It's a fetish of men being harmed or humiliated by women larger or taller than they are, related to Oedipus fetish. That's that tall woman, the 6'1" woman who wanted to put the guys in her shoe. I can't get over that. That's going to keep me up at night. Beat Cheeks gave $5. It would be an honor if you could be on the podcast with me. I don't want to give details publicly here, but if you want to hit up Brian on the dates, listen, when I show up, remains to be seen. I'm going to have to, I don't know, man. Can you imagine if they cast that and it's me and Bangs? All right. Scott Coleman, $10. When are these nasty buttons going to be available? That is a fantastic question. Don't worry, they're coming. It's going to be even cooler than this. This is just wait. Just wait. Nasty. All right, Benjamin Cox said $5. I love women in all shapes and sizes, but OnlyFans tanks it. There you go. Ash's Old India gave $50. God bless you and everyone. You are bringing some sense to the crazy. Who are bringing some sense to the crazy? Thank you. And Omega Resetsu again. Incoherent gynocentrism. I feel like that's potentially a Rollo Tomasi listener because he talks about that all the time. Gynocentrism. Okay. All right, I'm going to take it to $10 and up for the close. $10 and up in the chat, Deli. So if anything, just send those to me just because I want to get to everything we have here today. Does your past indicate your future? Think about it. Were you promiscuous in the past? Is that an indicator of how you'll behave? Did you cheat on a whole bunch of girls, guys? Is that an indicator of how you will behave? I think it's a great conversation, great discussion. Let's go to number 9, Deli. It's 238.44. That's the final one in the series.
Certainly, it's if you had to choose between two women, one who is currently promiscuous and one who is no longer promiscuous but was promiscuous in her past, the choice is obvious, right? However, would it be?
Are you trying to state like the lesser of two evils opportunity?
But you didn't say promiscuous. You said cheating. If somebody cheated
Yeah,
on
that's
all of their
very
past partners,
different.
that's very different.
Yeah.
That's
I think you said
boundaries broken.
That's like
I
loyalty
think you said
and like other like characteristics.
more. I
Right,
think
but
he was
you're
saying
looking
that.
at their past.
Yeah, but you said cheating. I thought we were talking about promiscuity. You said promiscuity is a great indicator for how they will be in their future, but then you changed it. You flipped the script and you said, "What if they cheated?" That's
No, I
a
said
little
past
different.
past behavior is a great predictor for future behavior.
Sure, that's true, but you didn't say promiscuity. You said specifically cheating. If
He
somebody
said-
specifically cheated on all of their partners, then yes, I would
But
assume that that's a
was
habit
their
of
past.
theirs.
So, but you can make the same argument. Well, it was my past. I made mistakes. I'm a new person. I've changed.
Sure, you could.
Would
Anyone
you believe
can
them?
change. Anyone
Or
can
would you
change.
have reservations?
I wouldn't believe them.
It would be a difficult conversation that we would have to have.
Okay. So do you see how they get triggered? They're not triggered by the word cheating. Why? Because societally and historically, we've been dealing with the idea of cheating for a long time, and it's kind of been ingrained in us that cheating is bad, right? Go back 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. Even now, a cheater, right? It still wears like kind of a bad cheater, right? That's how it's accepted that it's a bad thing. So it's not a trigger word for them. What's a trigger word for them is promiscuity, because now that went from being something that was shameful historically to now something that is not only accepted, but is raised up on a pedestal as something that's empowering for women. So that rubs them wrong. Plus, a lot of them are promiscuous. So they've already made a lot of mistakes in that department, like I always say. So then they have to own up and self-reflect and look in the mirror and face the reality of the decisions that they've made that they know are going to make them have less value in the sexual marketplace. So it's like an awareness, a come to Jesus moment that they can't handle. So the answer to this question is, of course, that your past oftentimes, very, very often, does indicate your future. So when it comes to promiscuity and cheating, so if you have a very, very promiscuous past, I'm going to talk about women here. I'm going to zero in on women in particular because this is a conversation about women that they're having. So, and it's a little bit of a different conversation about men, although I do also believe that it is an equal indicator of future behavior. However, when you're talking about women and you're talking about women who have a past where they were promiscuous, they are absolutely more likely to continue that trend and to be a problem in your marriage. That's a fact. If you talk about a woman who has a past of being a cheater, she's going to be more likely to repeat or continue that behavior. And it's very simple. If you had an option of a woman who didn't cheat, who didn't have a past that involved any cheating, who didn't have a past that involved any promiscuity, and you had the option of a woman who did, would this be hard for any man if they had to make that selection? No, you don't. This looks like it comes in the package of a headache. I say that all the time. A former cheater, reformer, is it former? Because it reflects your ability to cheat. It reflects your ability to go down that road. If you did it once, you are capable. I'm not saying you're going to do it again, but you're capable of walking that path again. In fact, you already have your footsteps in the sand, so you know even how to go about it. You know the mistakes you made. Maybe you would never. If you're never done that before, ever, and you're not wired for it, that's a blessing, right? It's a blessing to you and to your partner because you're probably not, if you're 25 years old, you never cheated on anyone, odds are you're probably not gonna, right? You're much less likely to than somebody who already has a cheating past. Can we just have a realistic conversation about that? Okay, I'm not saying every person, I'm not saying people can't change. I'm not saying you can't wake up one day and find God, find religion, find monogamy, find a new sense of spirituality, find a new direction in life, all possible. But we have to speak in terms of generalities here. And the generality is that your past is an indicator of your future behavior. And that these things, if you look at data and you look at stats on this stuff, it will oftentimes show, most of them show, that if you have people with high body counts going into a marriage, there's more likely to be an issue in that marriage. The stats are actually pretty strong on that in terms of the body counts. I have to bring in, Chris Williamson had a good graphic on that. I'll bring it in for you next week so you can see it. It's really interesting. Again, there's going to be outliers. Of course, there's going to be outliers, but it's an interesting conversation about promiscuity. The important note from me here before we get to the last topic of the day is that notice the trigger word. That promiscuity word makes them crazy, makes these women absolutely crazy, because they have now been told in 2023 that their promiscuity should be worn like a badge of honor, that it's a sign of female empowerment, that's a sign that women have come so far, that it's a sign that feminism has won, that it's a sign that they've leveled the playing field. They love that word. You know, it's like they're breaking glass ceilings in their mind by being slutty. That's not how you break glass ceilings, honey. It's not good. It's not a good look. It's not good for you. It's not good for, you know, society at large. It's not good for the guys. It's not good for anything. It's not good. So they're faced with that like reality, that internal biological reality that maybe this isn't good, and what society told them, and the bad behavior that they've already committed. And they like have a, you know, when like a wire kind of phrase and goes, bzz. That's what you see. That's what you see. That's the triggered woman. What do we have here? Rick Bourne is in there. Oh, Rob Bedreau gave $10. Thanks, Rob. Rick Bourne's in there. $20. I want to ask the toothbrush question. If you were at a guy's place, oh, here we go. I've never had a one-night stand, so you're asking this to somebody who never had a one-night stand, but I'm going to try. If you're at a guy's place, one-night stand, and you don't know him, would you use his toothbrush? Or is that gross or grody, 80s term? Or what if you see him using your toothbrush? Dude, I can't wrap my head around this concept, because I can't. First of all, let me say this. Okay, how do I? If you are willing to allow a strange eggplant to enter the body, the toothbrush is the least of your problems. Okay, just go use the toothbrush. You've already made out. You've already done things that are remarkable considering you don't know them. So I think the toothbrush is the least of your concerns. I personally can't wrap my head around using somebody you just met using his toothbrush. Nasty. Ugh. I can't, but I also can't fathom the strange eggplant. So it goes hand in hand, does it not? Just saying, Rick. That's my take on it. Okay. We have a last topic of the day today. We have a follow-up. I have something I have to do after the show today, so, you know, we got to wrap tight. Dr. Michael Yeadon. Do you know who that is? So this is a doctor that has come under fire. He's a scientist. He's a former VP of Pfizer. You know that name. You've heard that a lot the last couple of years. He spent 16 years as an allergy and respiratory researcher. Okay. And he became a whistleblower in these last couple of years. Everybody mainstream media, if you look him up, you hate him. Oh, he's this, he's anti-vax, meh, 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 meh. All this stuff, because he raised some red flags in his view about the experimental injection as it related to female infertility. That was something he was talking about. And because he had the affiliation with Pfizer, and because he had spent years as a researcher for them, and he was a scientist, there was a lot of panic in the medical establishment that he would be, you know, received well by people, and people would question things. They couldn't have that, of course. They couldn't have any questioning, even though science is all about questioning. There were plenty of people trying to squash science in the last 2 years. So this is a fantastic tweet that showcases him. It's a video of him, and he's not talking about anything related to COVID. He's talking about central bank digital currencies, and I think it's important to listen to him. So let's go to that tweet. Deli, you have it. This is your Matrix topic of the day. Very important. This is coming, people. This is coming. Take a listen.
You lose cash, and this is what we must not let them do. When we lose cash, if we lose cash, and you've only got central bank digital currencies, the computer will know what it is you're trying to do before you even do it, and they will prevent you from doing it. If, for example, they say you can't leave your house more than 5 miles, you try and buy a bottle of water 6 miles from home, you won't be able to. I'm not kidding. So many reasons why you should retain cash. It's offensive that the politicians believe that they have a right to all of your information at all times. With you lose cash.
Yeah. So this is a way. These central bank digital currencies, they're coming. I'm just be warned. Be warned. It's coming, and there's going to be a lot of ways that you're going to be able to stand up to that. But it's not going to be easy, because remember, we got one world government here. So there's no sovereign states. There's no sovereign. It's over. So I will be updating you on ways that you need to stand up when that happens. But the goal of the CBDC is you need to understand, if you're somebody who works hard, if you're somebody who values your financial stability, if you're somebody who values, you know, your cash, they're coming for the cash. They're coming to control you. What he's talking about is real. If it's digitized, if everything is digital, you realize that if you look at the last 2 years with mandates, with people that the government decided were well-behaved, and people who weren't so well behaved, according to them, people who complied, people who refused to comply. They put you in two categories, right? In the compliant and then the rebellious. So what would happen if everything was digitized, including your ability to spend money? That includes putting gas in your car, putting food on your table. Think about the grocery store. Think about money is power, right? Money is freedom. If you were in the category of people that the government, and by government, I mean one world government, I mean WEF, I mean WHO, I mean all of those institutions that are coming out with these new accords, if they decided that you out there sitting at home, were too rebellious, you realize if everything's digital, they can just cut you off. Or they can say, we're going to cut you off until you do this. Or we're going to impose X, Y, and Z until you comply. And then don't worry, you'll get a big reward. So it's pressure. It's constant pressure that's going to be exerted over you and exerted onto your freedom. It's essentially going to be a digital prison. You will be in a digital prison. And that's what they want. And it will start off as voluntary, as I always tell you, oh, just do this for yourself. You can manage, your carbon footprint. You can manage, X, Y, Z. And very soon that access will be shifted to the top. And just imagine if you had a quarantine zone that could be enforced with digital currency. So you couldn't, if this was your quarantine zone, right? Let's just say here, you have a little square. And you could only spend money in there. But the second you stepped out, you couldn't. Do you realize how the level of control? If you decided, I'm getting in my car, I'm going to drive, what if your car just stopped when you got out of that zone? What if your money, your credit card didn't swipe when you got out of that zone? Because it's all going to be digital. Remember, it's all going through a central system. Big Daddy government's going to have eyes on you all the time. So if this stuff scares you, good. You have to resist. And there's a lot of conversations right now happening in states around the country where certain states, mostly red states, are battling this. But there are some red states that are signing on for very similar stuff and they're just going to open the floodgates to this stuff. So it's going to come to be a big question of where you live, where you move. If you move, do you surround yourself with people who resist? This is deeply, deeply scary stuff that's happening. And you're going to have to have your eyes glued open. All right, Dwayne Hampton, give $20. Toothbrush answer from a dentist. No, heck no. HIV and other diseases can be transmitted. Love the show, Jed. From an old guy, 65, single for 25 years. Listen, I love the note about being a dentist and all that, but I'm telling you, if a woman is going home with a rando, getting the random eggplant, there's already other days. I'm telling you, the toothbrush is not going to be, I'm just saying. Other things are happening, is all I'm saying. Basically, they shouldn't be sleeping together on night one, and they shouldn't be sharing a toothbrush. Can we just establish some sanity back in the world? Okay. Rick Bourne gave $20. No, not you. I want to see these women answer that toothbrush question just to see if they consider. Oh, you want them to answer. You want the 304s to answer the toothbrush question. Well, I can't speak to them, but I'll tell you what. If we ever get one on here, oh man, can you imagine? Deli would go gray that hour. If we get one on here, I will remember this moment and I will ask them, I'll say, do you, when you go over? And you know what I will guarantee you? I will guarantee you this. These modern women are so disconnected from their womb and from the idea of the sexual act that I will guarantee you this. If you ask them that question, they are going to have a reflex reaction where the toothbrush is like, ew, that's so gross. Ew, someone's toothbrush. They would sooner have like unprotected sex with a rando than use his toothbrush. That's the sickness. Because when you're disconnected from your sexuality, you start to go crazy, right? So I guarantee you they'd be like, ew, a toothbrush. Oh, that's so you can have food in it. In the meantime, they're random eggplant, in and out, like mad. Crazy. All right, everyone, I want to thank you for being here today. I had a fantastic time. I will see you back on Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Hit that subscribe button before you leave. Hit that like button. Hit it now. Hit that subscribe. Hit that. I'm going to wait. La, la. Here, listen. You get an extra nasty. There you go. Hit that subscribe button. You get an extra nasty. Hit the subscribe button and the like button, and these get made faster. Just saying. See you soon. Bye.